Welcome to CFC Fan TV. I'm delighted to be joined by the one and only Charlie, the Hurricane Skillen from the Mail Online. The football season is sort of back underway. Chelsea have just beaten Perth Glory 1-0, and we were good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too excited, but I'm convinced we're going to win the league now.
We obviously, we obviously are. No, you can't read too much into games like that, can you?
No, clearly not. And I think before we discuss anything and the kind of minutiae of the game, we all know that it's a training match. It's the first chance we get to see what Sarri's had time to implement. The opposition I thought was pretty poor, but you know I saw a lot of promising things, and I don't want to read too much into them. But from what I saw, I was very pleased. There was a hell of a lot more kind of attacking movement, a lot more short passing, a lot more kind of invention in the way that we played. And obviously, you know, that's a good thing. And it should have been a lot more than 1-0. We must have had 70% of possession.
Yeah, countless chances, and we hit the post 3 times.
Exactly. I think from at this stage, I don't really think you could have hoped for anything better.
No,
which is obviously a good thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think what was great and what I've really taken from it as a huge positive is we've already seen a bit of what Sarri can bring. Yeah. We've seen him setting up his new system really well, haven't we? And the way that we were knocking it about, it's lovely to see David Luiz at the back there. Yeah,
I mean, do you want to see him sort of play more this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that David Luiz in this new system could be the perfect player, actually. He's so good on the ball. He's got such a good eye for a pass. He can, you know, his long-range passing is excellent. And I think that this system that we're going to play with Sarri, I think that David Luiz could be pivotal because you think he's a great defender. You know, he defends like one of the best centre-backs in the league, but then also has it in his locker to play that kind of Fabregas quarterback role, spray the passes, start the attacks. Well, I think Sarri's going to be really keen on trying to utilise David Luiz.
Yeah, and obviously we've gone back to a back four, which David Luiz played a lot with Chelsea the first time
originally,
around.
Yes.
And it's sort of quite a high line, which, you know, which is obviously part of Sarri's tactics. And I think it was a shame last year. You know, we all know that David Luiz fell out with Antonio Conte massively, and that really, I know he was injured, but that kind of really put pay to his chance of being involved post, I think, Roma away.
Yes.
What was that, November or something. But yeah, I mean, the defence didn't have too much to do, but they looked very solid. Luiz was playing next to Ampadu, so they're just like a big mass of curly hair at centre half.
Yeah.
Which was quite
wonderful experience for
confusing.
Ethan Ampadu to learn playing next to David Luiz. You learn so much there.
Yeah, and he's coming off the back of an injury. I thought he was brilliant every time I saw him play Ampadu last season. Obviously, he was probably the youngster that was involved most last season, so he looked solid. But really, I think looking forward. I mean, obviously we kept the ball so much in midfield, and key to that for me, I thought Jorginho was brilliant. You know, obviously it's his first game at the club. You'd expect him to kind of just try and fit into the system.
But it works so well, and I can see why he managed to take the game by the scruff of his neck, because he's the player who knows the system. He's the player who's played under Sarri countless times, knows what it takes, knows what they're doing on the training ground, knows what they're working towards, and knows how they want to implement it when it comes to doing it on the pitch. Yeah. So he's actually going to be Sarri's mouthpiece on the pitch. So it's great that he's just taken to playing for Chelsea like a duck to water.
I mean, he was actually the one. I mean, obviously Fabregas was wearing the armband, but he was kind of the one telling everyone else where they should be.
Yeah, well, Fabregas in this new system, I think it's going to be very interesting to see where he plays, if he plays. Because Jorginho and Kante is the pivot, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is the perfect partnership.
It is, and I just think you want someone a little bit kind of more dynamic than Fabregas. I see him being a backup player. Yeah. But I think Jorginho and Kante is going to work so well. Yeah. I mean, I'm really excited to see that. Ross Barkley obviously played alongside them in a kind of in a 3-man midfield.
Played well, Ross Barkley.
He played really well. I was kind of not that in favour of Chelsea signing him, but we've known Ross Barkley has had untold talent since he was like 17, 18. And if Sarri can finally be the man to unlock that at a high level, you know, I'm not talking about him playing well for Everton against West Brom, where you know maybe he didn't have the defensive responsibility. Talking about a proper kind of
playing well for a team,
world-class club. Then look, we could have a real bargain on our hands.
And also, it's so great to just have options, because we know how important central midfield pairing is. Like, you know, the 2 World Cup finalists were built on the 2 best midfields in the competition.
Yeah, 100%,
it was Pogba and Kante versus Modric, Rakitic. Yeah. They're the 2 best midfields in the tournaments. They both got to the final. Yeah, it's often how it works. So if we can now have these, you know, a midfield pairing that we rate highly.
Yeah.
But then options of Fabregas to step in where necessary. Bakayoko obviously needs a mention here. Equally, Ross Barkley could come in and give us something different. Obviously, we're going to play a 3-man midfield, so somebody's going to have to be sacrificed, and equally somebody else can step in. But generally speaking, the options that we have at that midfield position is quite good.
And also, if we go deep into the Europa League, which obviously we want to do, we're going to be playing a hell of a lot of games. That kind of Thursday, Sunday thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hard work.
Absolutely.
You know, and if we're where we want to be in the league, those games are going to be crucial. You know, we might have a Europa League quarter-final and
obviously we've got
and everyone's going to get those chances.
And we've got loads of players that are currently away with the World Cup. Yeah. So somebody like Ruben Loftus-Cheek is going to be in this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And N'Golo Kante, obviously.
Yeah.
This is good. Rudiger at the back.
Somebody needs to leave, don't they, from central midfield? Danny Drinkwater, for example.
Yeah. I think his Chelsea career may be up. It depends what happens to Loftus-Cheek. I mean, he might go on loan again. It's not a move that I want to see at all.
If you've been to the World Cup, you're ready to play for Chelsea, aren't you?
Agreed. Completely agreed. And in terms of the youngsters playing for the club, I want to see Loftus-Cheek in the fold. But one player that did play fantastically today was Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, he was good.
He was so lively.
So direct. It's so refreshing to see somebody who's like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got speed and pace and all of that directness that you talk about, but he's also very, very technically gifted. For the first, he completely made the first goal with some wonderful skill and a cross in from the left, and it was a nice finish from Pedro. But obviously we saw flashes of him last season in some kind of lower level games. But in terms of the youngsters at the club, I mean, he's not going to play 60 games for Chelsea next season, but I can see him being involved, and I think Sarri can not fail to be impressed by what he saw today.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a mutual thing, because we're quite impressed with what we've seen from Sarri today. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, I mean, I said before, and it's still the case. I mean, a game against a pretty poor Australian side is not going to change.
No, but it's about the system.
But it's about the system. You're right.
You've got to remember, he's been brought into a club to completely rip up the rule book, and the blueprint has changed, and we are now seeing the seeds of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you know, it's made me look forward to the new season a lot more. This game.
Yeah.
One slight disappointment for me was Morata. Again, I thought for someone that didn't go to the World Cup and obviously has got a hell of a point to prove after such a poor, certainly second, 2/3 of last season.
Certainly calendar year.
Yeah, precisely. Was very poor and didn't really look at home within the kind of system. He was put through for a couple of really good chances and failed to deliver. He came off and Tammy Abraham came on. I do worry about Chelsea going into this season with Morata as the so-called main man. I'm a big fan of Olivier Giroud.
Do you think Morata will go?
I think it's best for all parties if he does, because I think he'd love to go. It's a fact that he's not settled. I don't, anyone who tries to tell me that he's settled at the club is wrong. I think Chelsea, provided they could get basically what they spent on him this time last year, I think if they could get that, they'd happily see him go. But there's a lot of factors that needs to happen for that to go through. You're talking about a buying club wanting
drop 60 million quid
precisely,
and then his wages.
Talking about the circumstances being right for Morata. It's got to be right for everyone, but I do feel it's something that people like to work towards. Obviously, we would need a replacement.
Higuain?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's kind of the one that's been talked about. Even a swap deal with Morata, or money and part exchange, or one of these kind of things. I've seen, given Higuain's age and all that, how he doesn't really fit the profile of Chelsea signings we've seen in the past. But
be good for a year or two, though, wouldn't it?
Precisely. I mean, I've never been one to say we only got to buy 23-year-olds because, if he scores 20 goals next year, then it's worth it. I don't care if he's as old as you.
Yeah, I agree.
It was his birthday, by the way. Wish him happy birthday in the comments. His birthday this week. We had a good time Saturday, didn't we?
We had a very good time. Very boozy.
Felt rubbish Sunday.
Boozy.
I'm just kind of feeling.
Feeling
all nice and refreshed again.
It was a really good day.
Happy birthday.
It's been a great week. I was on holiday.
Yeah.
It was then my birthday, and then Chelsea won today.
Happy days.
So it's a good hat trick.
Not long to the Community Shield, and then Huddersfield away.
Exactly, and also Chelsea are back in Europe. We've got a game in France. We've got a game at the Bridge. We've got a game in Dublin.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see, we can really like start to see how this is all going to shape up.
And I think the promising things that we saw today, that those are only going to intensify.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you mean, obviously, I think even from the videos that you've seen sort of doing the rounds on Twitter, Sarri's training sessions, you can see this system being implemented really, really heavily. We saw a little bit of that today. You'd hope by those games you mentioned, as well as the Charity Shield, that we just see more and more of it, because it was really promising.
I cannot wait.
I got my ticket for Huddersfield away this morning.
Yeah, they were on sale, weren't they? I cannot wait.
It.
It is going to be an incredible year, and I cannot wait for it to start. Guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop us a like, and why not click the subscribe button. Go on, you Blues.